Radio is an intimate storytelling medium, and when it bonds with one of the finest storytellers of our times, the result is sheer magic. During these times of social distancing, All India Radio hopes to bring you some comfort, some connection, with an exclusive story reading series, Bonding over the Radio. Coming up is the pick of the day, voiced by the author Ruskin Bond himself.
Well, this is an early story about an encounter on a train journey that happened many years back. Mm-hmm. Over the years, the title of the story has changed when it's gone into different collections, but it's best known as The Eyes Have It. The Eyes Have It. I had the train compartment to myself up to Rohana. Then a girl got in. The couple who saw her off were probably her parents. They seemed very anxious about her comfort, and the woman gave the girl detailed instructions as to where to keep her things, when not to lean out of the windows, and how to avoid speaking to strangers. They called their goodbyes and the train pulled out of the station. As I was totally blind at the time, my eyes sensitive only to light and darkness, I was unable to tell what the girl looked like. But I knew she wore slippers from the way they slapped against her heels. It would take me some time to discover something about her looks, and perhaps I never would. But I liked the sound of her voice, and even the sound of her slippers. "Are you going all the way to Dera?" I asked. I must have been sitting in a dark corner, because my voice startled her. She gave a little exclamation and said, "I didn't know anyone else was here." Well, it often happens that people with perfectly good eyesight fail to see what is right in front of them. They have too much to take in. Whereas people who cannot see, or see very little, have to take in only the essentials, whatever registers most tellingly on their remaining senses. "I didn't see you either," I said, "but I heard you come in." I wondered if I would be able to prevent her from discovering that I was blind, provided I keep to my seat. I thought it shouldn't be too difficult. The girl said, "I'm getting off at Saharanpur. My aunt is meeting me there." "Then I had better not get too familiar," I replied. "Aunts are dangerous people." "Well, where are you going?" she asked. "To Dehradun and then to Mussoorie." "Oh, how lucky you are. I wish I was going to Mussoorie. I love the hills, especially in October." "Yes, this is the best time," I said, calling on my memories. "The hills are covered with wild dahlias, the sun is delicious, and at night you can sit in front of a log fire and drink a little brandy. Most of the tourists have gone, and the roads are quiet and almost deserted. Yes, October is the best time." She was silent. I wondered if my words had touched her, or whether she thought me a romantic fool. Then I made a mistake. "What is it like outside?" I asked. Well, she seemed to find nothing strange in the question. Had she noticed already that I could not see? But her next question removed my doubts. "Why don't you look out of the window?" she asked. I moved easily along the berth and felt for the window. It was open, and I faced it, making a pretense of studying the landscape. I heard the panting of the engine, the rumble of the wheels, and in my mind's eye I could see telegraph posts flashing by. "Have you noticed," I ventured, "that the trees seem to be moving while we seem to be standing still?" "That always happens," she said. "Do you see any animals?" No, I answered quite confidently. I knew that there were no or hardly any animals left in the forest near Dera. I turned from the window and faced the girl, and for a while we sat in silence. You have an interesting face, I remarked. I was becoming quite daring, but it was a safe remark. Few girls can resist a little flattery. She laughed pleasantly, a clear, ringing laugh. It's nice to be told I have an interesting face. I'm tired of people telling me I have a pretty face. Oh, so you do have a pretty face, thought I, and aloud I said, well, an interesting face can also be pretty. You're a very gallant young man, she said, but why are you so serious? I thought then that I would try to laugh for her, but the thought of laughter only made me feel troubled and lonely. We'll soon be at your station, I said. Thank goodness it's a short journey. I can't bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. Yet I was prepared to sit there for almost any length of time, just to listen to her talking. Her voice had the sparkle of a mountain stream. As soon as she left the train, she would forget our brief encounter. But it would stay with me for the rest of the journey and for some time after. The engines whistled, shrieked, the carriage wheels changed their sound and rhythm. The girl got up and began to collect her things. I wondered if she wore her hair in a bun or if it was plaited. Perhaps it was hanging loose over her shoulders. Or was it cut very short? The train drew slowly into the station. Outside, there was the shouting of porters and vendors and high-pitched female voices near the carriage door. That voice, one of them must be belonging to the girl's aunt. Well, goodbye, the girl said. She was standing very close to me, so close that the perfume from her hair was tantalizing. I wanted to raise my hand and touch her hair, but she moved away. Only the scent of perfume still lingered where she had stood. There was some confusion in the doorway. A man, getting into the compartment, stammered an apology. Then the door banged, and the world was shut out again. I returned to my berth. The guard blew his whistle, and we moved off. And once again, I had a new fellow traveler. The train gathered speed, the wheels took up their song, the carriage groaned and shook. I found the window and sat in front of it, staring into the daylight that was darkness for me. So many things were happening outside the window. It could be a fascinating game, guessing what went on out there. The man who had entered the compartment broke into my reverie. You must be disappointed, he said. I'm not nearly as attractive a traveling companion as the one who just left. Oh, she was an interesting girl, I said. But can you tell me, did she keep her hair long, or was it short? I don't remember, he said, sounding puzzled. It was her eyes I noticed, not her hair. She had beautiful eyes, but they were of no use to her. She was completely blind. Didn't you notice?
Radio is supposed to be theatre for the blind. I just thought I'll share with you.
Of course it would be, yes.
And this was total theatre.
Right. Well, so it's a suitable story, huh?
We have Shrestha, aged 8 years.
Yeah.
8.5 years she writes.
Right.
And she's written it in beautiful handwriting.
Oh, how nice. Oh.
Maybe we'll share it at some point.
Yes, you keep it for me, huh?
Right, sir.
And when,
Shrestha writes, my favorite author is Bond, Ruskin Bond. He inspired me to write my awesome stories.
That's right.
I like him more now. because he's telling stories in the radio and that too live. And if I were ever to meet him, I would ask him, do you use a typewriter?
I used to long ago, but for some time, and then I started finding it very uncomfortable. And I used to get a crick in the neck. So now I've gone back to writing by hand, which is more comfortable.
Then moving on to the computer.
Yes. Computer, I'll keep it for ugly janam.
Sir, Shrestha has one last question. Who is your favorite author?
Oh, my favorite author. There have been so many over the years. I think the authors I read when I was a youngster, when I was a boy, and the ones I discovered, like Lewis Carroll with Alice in Wonderland, or Emily Bronte with Wuthering Heights, and Charles Dickens, David Copperfield. Well, the classics largely, but then I also enjoyed writers like Agatha Christie and P.G. Wodehouse, and and light short stories. Somebody mentioned Jerome K. Jerome. So yes, all these, so many writers. I've been a bookworm all my life.
So we'll take one last comment.
Yes.
This is from Ruguma Mohan.
Exactly.
She's from Kerala.
Right.
And she says, as millions of others, I am a huge fan of yours, and I regret I wasn't introduced to your writings a little earlier.
Yes.
Your works continue to inspire me, shouting, quote, simple is good, simple is beautiful, unquote. I have never been to the mountains, but have felt the air through your magical words. I don't know how a fox dances. In fact, I haven't even seen a fox in close quarters, but if I see one dance, it won't be the first time, all thanks to you. Thank you, sir, for sharing your stories and your own voice. It's a little different from what I had imagined, but hearing your stories in your own voice is nothing short of a dream come true.
Oh, so nice of you to say that, and it's great having a reader in Kerala. In fact, there are many there, and I hope you come up to the mountains one day. I know you have beautiful hills there too, in Munnar. My father worked there for many years. That was before I was born, a long time ago.
Okay, so he was in the tea plantations, your father?
Yes, that's right. For some time he worked in the tea plantations, right?
We hope to listen to more stories from you.
Great.
That was storyteller par excellence, Ruskin Bond, reading his hand-picked story of the day in our exclusive series, Bonding Over the Radio. Ruskin Bond needs no introduction. Much loved by generations for his enduring and inspiring writing, he is an iconic and prolific literature, honoured with the Padma Bhushan and Sahitya Akademi Awards. Some of his works that have been adapted for film and television series include Junoon, Susanna's 7 Husbands, Saat Khoon Maaf, The Blue Umbrella, and Ek Tha Rusty. A presentation of the Central English Features Unit. This came to you from the External Services Division of All India Radio.